EA's been on a roll, and today we're going to be talking more about Apex Legends. This article I found kind of interesting because it involves the Steam Deck. If you guys don't know what the Steam Deck is, it's basically Valve's version of the Nintendo Switch. It's a handheld portable gaming PC that runs Linux, and EA has come out and said that they're not going to offer any kind of support for the Steam Deck when it comes to Apex Legends. So let's get into it. So, according to this article right here by PC Gamer, Apex Legend ditches Steam Deck support. EA says Linux is a path for a variety of impactful exploits and cheats, which is very reasonable, shall we say, when it comes to talking about it, because it's not like Windows, it's not like, you know, whatever Apple's version is, Mac, whatever, where it's way more closed source than Linux, because Linux is an open source thing. Anyways, bad news is Steam Deck shooters. Electronic Arts has determined that Linux is a path for a variety of impactful exploits and cheats in Apex Legends, and has thus decided to block anyone using the OS from accessing the game. It's no surprise to me because as of right now, Fortnite doesn't even have the ability to play Fortnite on the Steam Deck. Warzone, I don't believe is compatible with the Steam Deck. If you're going to want to play those, you're going to have to play on the console or the PC, which is completely understandable. The openness of Linux operating system makes it an attractive one for cheaters and cheat developers. The Apex anti-cheat team wrote in an update explaining its decision, which doesn't really make sense to me considering they still have yet to really patch things up on their end, even when it comes to consoles and PCs, because, what was it, the beginning of this year, there was a big tournament where somebody was able to, basically remote into the game and hack a bunch of pro players during a massive tournament. Linux cheats are indeed harder to detect, and that the data shows they are growing at a rate that requires an outsized level of focus and attention from the team for a relatively small platform. There are also cases in which cheats for the Windows OS get emulated as if it's on Linux in order to increase the difficulty of detection and prevention. I think on top of that, the other thing is they really got to look into kernel level, anti-cheat software. Cutting off an entire branch of players is no small thing. With that being said, the question I have for you guys is, how many people do you know that actually own Steam Decks? I own one. I play it at work when I'm on break. Steam Deck is a great platform, shall we say, to play games. In my opinion, single player games. I wouldn't play multiplayer games on, the platform. Like, I've been playing Fable on there. I played Cyberpunk 2077 and Baldur's Gate. But the anti-cheat team says it had to balance the greater health of overall Apex player base with its number of legitimate players on Linux. With the population of Linux users is small, their impact infected a fair amount of players in the game, it wrote. As a result, the effective immediately, Apex will no longer be playable on Linux-based systems, including Steam Deck. Apex Legends on Steam had previously been categorized as playable on the Steam Deck, meaning it may require some manual tweaking by the user to play it, but is now listed as unsupported. Makes sense. This is one thing I do kind of want to talk about, is when they're talking about there's different Linux systems, I guess you can call it, but the one that SteamOS is based on is Arch Linux. And Arch Linux, of course, has been around for a while as an independent developer Linux distribution that strives to provide the latest stable version of most software by following a rolling release model. That is one thing that Linux does do very well, is the community for Linux is constantly working on it to make it better. The one that I have the most, I guess you can't see it behind my big head, but the Linux operating system I've used the most was Ubuntu. I know my brother uses Linux Mint. A lot of people recommend Linux because it is simpler. It's not as intrusive as Windows or some of these other operating systems. And on top of that, I could take a Linux system, throw it on a Raspberry Pi, and do all kinds of stuff. But the other thing that Steam Deck utilizes to really, push the Steam Deck into the forefront is, yes, it uses Arch Linux, but it also uses this software called Proton. And Proton is a compatibility layer for Windows gamings to run on Linux-based operating system. Proton is developed by Valve in cooperation with the developer of Code Weavers. It is a collection of software and libraries combined with patches, versions of Wine to improve performance and compatibility with Windows games. Proton is designed for integration into Steam client as a Steam Play. It is officially distributed through the client, although third-party forks can be manually installed. Um, I know I was listening to one of my buddies. He was the one that he preaches about Linux, and he was using Proton back when Proton first was really making waves. I think this is like 2020, 2021. And he kept trying to tell me to get into it. I never did. But it's just insane to think that, effective immediately, they didn't give anybody any kind of like time to get ready for this automatic wave. The update doesn't get into the nuts and bolts of why Linux is such a popular vector for cheating or why cheats on Linux are so hard to detect. It's because it's open source. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like when it comes to Linux, the reason why a lot of people think that it's a really good way to get into cheats and to cheat, and it's harder to detect, is because it's open source. But it does seem to come down to kernel level mode anti cheat being easy to work around in the Linux environment. Open level, open source. There's currently no reliable ways for differentiating a legitimate Steam Deck from a malicious cheat claiming to be a Steam Deck via Linux. The anti-cheat team wrote. It's just one of those things, like, there was no rhyme or reason. There's no warning, but I understand where they're coming from. Those concerns have been echoed and elaborated on by others. An April blog post about its Vanguard anti-cheat, for instance, Riot Games said Linux does not currently afford us sufficient ability to attest boot state or kernel modules, and the difficulties in securing it is only compounded by all the frustrating differences between the distributions. It sounds like I hate to say this, but when it comes to gaming, they're going to have to cut down on how many OSs they use. So of course you're going to have the PlayStation, you're going to have the Xbox, and then when it comes down to like gaming on PC, it's probably going to end up being just Windows. I'm not sure what percentage actually games utilizing MacBook or utilizing Linux, but I guarantee you the amount of people that utilize Linux and the amount of people that utilize Mac are significantly lower than Windows. But at the same token, Mac isn't open source. Linux is. Windows isn't open source. Linux is. And that's why it's hard to get into the nitty gritty when it comes to the kernel level of everything. Oh man, it keeps going. Half of its anti-cheat is making sure the environment hasn't been tampered with, and that the extremely hard on Linux by design and backdoors we leave open for it are ones developed by immediately leveraged for cheats. And yesterday there were just over 800 Linux users on League. We have evaluated this risk not to be worth the payoff, which makes sense. This is League of Legends. This is Riot talking, by the way, guys. The reaction to the news that Apex Legends subreddit is largely restrained. Some users naturally upset or angry, but others seem to feel the decision is justified, which 100% it is, saying on a more closed Windows environment to protect the games by sacrificing such a small percentage of the gamers is a deal I'm ready to make, especially for more competitive games. Well, the problem is like, no matter what you're going to do, there's always going to be the argument for we're going to have to sacrifice X for more competitive games. The big question is, what sort of impact will this have on cheating on Apex Legends going forward? And several players are calling on EA to share before and after numbers to demonstrate the effectiveness of the move or lack thereof, as many As the case may be, some are also no doubt hoping for a walkback if blocking Linux users and Linux players provides to have little or no effect, which I don't think it will. I don't think it will have little to any effect on cheaters when it comes to Apex. For now, though, it's a done deal. If you want to keep playing Apex on your Steam Deck, you're going to have to install Windows, which is a viable option as well to do for the Steam Deck. Let's go full screen. All right, you guys. So we're just going to talk about a real quick, brief overview. I don't understand what this article is getting at because they were talking about we don't understand. It's because it's open source. This is PC Gamer. I'm surprised they're not talking about it being an open source platform, operating system, whatever you want to call it. And that's why people have it so much easier to backdoor and utilize cheats and not be caught. To each their own, though. Me personally, I'm going to continue to use my PC. I'm going to continue to use my Xbox, PlayStation, what have you. On top of that, there is no Linux-based ability to play Fortnite. There's no Linux-based ability to play Warzone. So the only battle royale that there was available on the Steam Deck was Apex Legends with some minor tweaking, but it appears that is no more. Anyways, you guys, don't forget to mash that like button, comment down below, and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. It helps out significantly. And like I said, Steam Deck, it's definitely worth it. I got my Steam Deck while it was on sale like a month and a half ago, and I absolutely love it. I'll take it easy. Have a great, wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.